Also, how women were treated. Like we were talking about Bev Francis in Pumping Iron 2, and how one of the judges was very a female
Hey,
judge.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you, but can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, Alex is back. He can hear us. So we're talking about this, how people, are so disparaging when it comes to women with muscle. And again, it doesn't have to be a bodybuilder. It's just any woman who tends to need to feel to build their bodies to a certain level, a certain look. And and I do content. I know Alex does content on women in bodybuilding, and we often get messages and stuff like when I post something on my YouTube channel, or I will get guys. I don't know why you do this, who make comments calling the woman a dude or ooh or uck. Here's this. Why do you take the time to make comments on something that you don't like? You could just swift I say that you can go to the left or move on, you know, or just block my content. Why do you do that? So that's what we wondering. So gentlemen, you have any thoughts or response on it?
I get that same thing. With if I make a video about a woman that's a bodybuilder or just work out, you get guys that say some disparaging stuff like that's a nice looking dude, or something referring to a man. But the only thing I do, I just delete it. That's it. I mean, or block, or like hide my channel or something. It's a lot of weirdos. It's the internet, man. If it ain't a bodybuilder, it's somebody else. I mean, a lot of people get like comments, whether they're overweight or I was watching this Asian girl, and she's Southern. She's from she's originally from Vietnam, and she has like this Southern accent. And somebody in the comment was saying, "Why do you talk black, sound black?" And she made a video about it and stuff. And she kind of like responded back in a funny way, that she kind of I forgot how she just did it, but she responded back for them to shut the f up or something like that. But to go back on the discussion, I mean, people are always going to say something. You just can't really feed into it. I mean, it's kind of like Darth Sidious, the pop from Star Wars. Like he feeds into the negativity and it gets him stronger and stuff like that. That's how people kind of reacts to it. Like just can't really feed into it, because that's what they want. They want entertainment. They don't have A lot of people may not have anything to do but to do that, because if you don't really care, if you're not really fond of women with muscles, trust me, you're not going to really there's people that I know that it's not really into that, and they don't want to have anything to do with it. But I'm just saying that it's something that it's going bound to happen. You just have to know how to to handle it. A lot of these women, they talk about it, that to a point that they don't care. Some they do have an issue with it, and but to each his own. That's all I got to say.
Mhm.
That was actually a pretty good one there, KL. I do agree. I actually do agree. Man, well, I haven't gotten any backlash from any of the content I made from about these. I do agree that yeah, it's really it's really sad that people get want to be entertained and want to feed on want their negativity, their pain to be fed. I mean, I can't believe there's still some people out there that are so narcissistic. I mean, really, things this type of criticism is still going on since this lifestyle began, and I mean, I know there's going to be people out there that are still going to be offended by them, but it's not. It's. I mean, please, this isn't the. I understand. I can see why they're being offended by it, but there's no. There's. It's more. It's
Take
so
it, take your
gets
time,
so
son.
and now they get repetitive after a while. I mean, can people can be so insecure sometimes. So I don't know. Maybe they're jealous. Maybe some people. Maybe they. It's so really so. It's so complicated nowadays.
Mhm. It's just like that sometimes. And again, it's like Mikhail says, a lot of people of who's different is all get picked on. But I think it happens when it's somebody on the extreme side of it, especially if you are someone like myself. I'm overweight. I have comments. Like one time I was doing live, and some guy says, "Dude, you know anything about working out?" Well, I've worked out back in the day, but I got a life and I got a job, and I don't spend all the time in the gym. I was, wait, jobs get, sometimes working 15, 16 hours a day. So when I have time, we have time to go home, eat, and sleep. Who has time to go work out and train? So that was, you can find some space in it, but then, life can be life. We have here a comment here from Emmanuel coming through. He says, "This is interesting. I have a lot to say on this. I have my theories and perspectives on this." Okay. Okay. He also says this. One of the main and also obvious reasons why people, men in particular, are intimidated by women with muscles is simply put, is not considered the norm in society for women to look like that. Also, Shazin says uh, another reason why is because it's a reflection of their own insecurities. Deep down, they're jealous or envious of it. They are mad at fact they can't do it for themselves.
That's what I
We had
just.
Mhm. What did I say?
Yeah, that's what I just said earlier. Maybe they're jealous. Maybe they're insecure about it. That's what I was. That's what I said earlier.
Yeah, that thing is it's insecurities, and the thing is, if you as a man have insecurity about a woman with muscles, then why not you attacking a man who has muscles? I mean, they do get attacked, but not. I don't think not as bad compared to because it's considered. We talk about the rate of masculinity. Muscles considered very masculine in some cases, but women who have muscles doesn't make them masculine. Just they have muscles. They're built different. Shout out to my man Caleb Hall. He says, I have a friend that is a female bodybuilder. That's nice, brother.
That's like that's cool.
Yeah. This is one of the videos a lady sent me a while back, and I found it, and it really was where it points out one the this whole thing is going on, and this is something that made me think about. Let me just talk about this a little bit. This is from a gentleman, and he's a coach and a trainer. His name is James, and this is from a video that he did of a video of another of one of these social media influencers. So here we go. Here, yeah, let's give it up.
Absolutely disgusting. And if you're a guy that dates a woman like this, you like men. You absolutely like men. Because there's not one singular man on the planet that is attracted to women that thinks this build is attractive. She absolutely ruined herself. So, ladies, if you're thinking about getting into bodybuilding, I would highly, highly not recommend it. And if you are one of these bodybuilding ladies and you have a boyfriend or a husband, homeboy is.
What, he's secretly gay? That's the second time you said it now. Guarantee you the only way you can be honest is through projection. The fuck is your problem? Who do you think you are? And don't give me that she ain't gonna let you hit shit. With this attitude, no one lets you hit. That's a person. She worked her ass off. What are you doing? Walking down the street calling her gross? Disgusting? The fuck do you know about her? You really think that she did this for other men's approval? You think that she did this for your approval? You know how fucking weak you look? What do you bring to the table? What do you have to offer? You're not a man if you talk this way. And what are you most likely going to do? Double down and talk more shit, because that's what children do. I don't think she's going to lose a wink of sleep with knowing that you're not a fan of her. Totally okay to have preferences. Totally okay to not be into that. But you're not just talking about your preferences. You made a blanket statement about her worth. That's what makes you a piece of shit. I doubt that she's on your page worrying about you. Who's the real loser here?
That's true. The gentleman is James Kapalua, I think Cupola, Kapalua. I mean, last name. And he was directed this guy called That Zona Guy. And here's some comments. A couple ladies who I follow, and after her interviews, Ricky Jones says he's in the closet. That's what this is. Poor baby. Also, this is from Happy Belated Birthday to When He Slips. He says this: never trust a dude with a flesh colored beard. But thanks, James. I'm heavily muscled that that the beautiful women in your posts, and you are 100% correct. I don't consider what a man might like one time in the process of getting jacked. Not once. I do this for me and me only. And we have quite a few other ladies. I mean, some ladies jumped on this, but you know, the woman he was referenced to, she just competed over the weekend. Her name is Jenny Kessel, and Jenny just got her first Olympic qualification. She's originally from Germany, and she got her Olympic qualification at the Puerto Rico Pro just this past weekend. This is going to be a first year mixed Olympia. And she shouldn't care. I mean, you look at her. This is a impressive young lady. She last competition was New York in 2025, and now she's going to make her first Olympia. Um, this is from her 2025. She has a impressive physique, but there's guys making comments here, like here's this post here. This guy posted like steroids. But again, we go back. The fact is that steroids is not the be all be all. It's only used in the process of developing muscle, and it doesn't make you a better athlete. You know, and she's worked hard. She's trained. She earned that opportunity. Now to go to Olympia to be competing with the best. I think she's a lovely lady. She has a great future in the sport. What y'all think of Jenna?
I don't got nothing much to say. I mean, no, I don't got no comment too much.
Mhm.
Well, same here. But I will say I do see potential in her. I'm glad I congratulate her for her Olympia qualification. I wish her all the best of luck.
Yeah, because you know what? This just takes a lot of time, hard work to build muscle, especially for a woman. And society always going to view women like her as different. But it goes back to why do you take the time out? Because one thing is, somebody say like this, you're just bringing attention to them. If you can go like it's one thing is I got a video that I posted. I did an interview with a young lady last Monday that was Liza Apodaca. Now that video has hit pretty much 1,000 views. That's been barely just a week since I did the interview. 1,000 views just already, and I got a lot more likes because I think like about at least over 30 likes right now. But then you see, go by the views. That means someone took the time, and I even saw some guys make comments. I deleted them, but you took the time to increase the viewership of that video to look at it, and then you took the time to comment on it. So that tells me that you saw something that interests you per se, and you had the energy to go in there and whatever reason to comment and to watch the video. So I
But
thank you.
George, I did say that she got some big arms. That's on your interview.
Yeah,
So
the
you see that you ain't got to delete it.
I'm not
I
deleting
just
that.
said,
Yeah,
okay,
I think she appreciate that. She appreciate that because
okay,
she
all
she
right. I
she
just want you to know.
well, if you say anything bad, I will let you know. I will be in your I'll be on your back about
I
it.
just said she has some big arms. I'm not going to say too much.
I
She's
actually
very
thought
impressive.
Alyssa was. I think she looked. I was kind of impressed by her. I'm glad she's pretty new to. Glad she made her. Glad she gained into it. Sounds very sweet. She really appreciated what she did like the poster I made, and I wish her the best of luck for later this year if she's going to do any more contests and keep doing
Well,
what she does best.
she has confirmed that she's planning on doing the Steve Carr show in Vegas. And that's like a little bit a month or so after the Olympia.
Yeah.
We're talking how she says she still needs some things to work on because one thing is about her, she has 7 kids. Her oldest is 21, her youngest is like about 7, about 8. And she has a man, that's a man right there, Thomas. And that's the thing is, it always gets people like saying, what kind of man want to be a woman like that? He does. I mean, he has a smile on his face. I mean, you ask yourself, and I think she's an attractive lady. Here's some pictures from her when she was at the bathroom taking some pictures. I mean, in a red dress. Ow! Look at the quads. And guys like us who are fan of this, of women with muscle, we don't see nothing wrong with it, but we looked at it as weird. And like I said again, it's go back to the old saying, to each their own. And she did an interview with my man David. This is her doing a front double. She was wearing her scrubs and had a tank top on doing our interview. Here's this from the pictures from the when she was at the Triple O, which has been about 3 weeks ago. Great back, just needed a little more width and more depth. She can probably build that in the next few months till the next show. And also, being a woman who had 7 kids, she still has good abdominal development. I know some ladies who have some issues, who have maybe more than 1 kid, the abdominals don't look as together. But she was told that's one thing she can work on. But it's just, again, she's a lovely lady, and she has this great personality about herself. She's very humble, because this is something for her. She wasn't expecting this. She has a great smile. Look at that smile. And again, guys, if it's not your preference, then why do you take the energy to say something about it? I just wonder that. We got here a comment.
You probably got to get the people to come and then let that, and he could talk to you about it.
But the problem
And
is,
it'd be like, but are you willing to like to accept it, what they're saying, like make it to a cordial conversation? You can call them out to see if they gonna come on the panel, and they give you their thoughts on why they feel the way they feel.
But the problem with those guys who are making those comments, they're not going to do that because they're as I would say, I would say like this to but like a great wrestler back when I was growing up, he used to say this. His name was Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch. He said, like, they nothing but yellow belly egg sucking dogs. And I would love to have some of the ladies come on, but most of them are busy. They got something to do in there, and some of them, it's up to them if they want to talk about it. But it's hard to get those people who are attacking them, because it's easy to be a keyboard warrior and a troll, but when you're confronted by your people that you're attacking, they don't have that same energy. They will kind of screech and hide. I even posted, hey, if you want to come on, it's on in my link. Hey, just let me know. Send me a message. I could, hey, it's an open conversation, but it's up to you. You have to. This is what I say. You have to be willing and wanting. I can ask you, but you have to be willing to wanting to do the conversation. Shout out to my man here, Emmanuel. He just says this. He says another reason is that biologically speaking, women fake longer than men to build. He says take longer than men to build muscle, so it bruises any average man's pride and ego that a woman can build more muscle than them. Inferiority complex. Yeah,
I agree. Yes, that's true.
yeah, and it takes a lot of work, and there's even in what comes to men bodybuilders, there's a certain percentage. If you look at guys like Samson Dewar, you look at guys like Derek Lungford, or even Nick Walker, those guys, it took them years to get to that level of muscle. Training, dieting, yes, using performance enhancers because you need it. It's partial for growth. But KO, he has done interviews with competitors that do natural bodybuilding, and that is just as hard because you're doing it without using before enhancers because you have to. It takes you longer to recover to compared to those that do use PEDs or kind of any kind of steroid. Mhm. So there's this other video I saw while I was on social media. One lady, she is a bodybuilder. Her name is Christine, I think Speckos. She's competed quite a few shows. I know she competed last year at I believe it was Atlantic City. And she did some other shows. And this is where I really have respect for these ladies, where she talks about what drives her and also being like really just pointing out why a lot of these ladies do what they do. So we're gonna put this up here.
Another unpopular opinion that I have that'll probably get me hated more than love, but you probably need to hear it deep down inside because it's going to hit somebody in their soul, and you may or may not like me more or less after this. There are people in the world, after my 27 years of experience, I have come to realize either will always be it and will always win, and there are people who never will get it and never will win, and here is why. You are always going to win when you choose to accept how much time, money, blood, sweat, tears, effort that you must invest into getting and becoming what you want. And then you will be that loser that will always struggle if you always put this other perception of what you thought it was supposed to be that it isn't. So you stop doing it or don't even try to do it because you're uncomfortable with the fact that it's going to cost more time, cost more money. It's going to be way more of a physical discomfort than you thought because you're living in the muddy waters that got you stuck and disgusting to begin with. When people get over themselves and they realize, oh my gosh, I need to change, and they accept that, is when they're on the path to becoming winners. But real winners, the people that it's like bread, they have it in them. They don't know how to lose. They don't know how to fail. They don't know how to not take risks. They don't know how to say no. I'm not good enough for that because they are good enough for everything and they will go after, come hell or high water, what they want. Whether it's money that they have to invest, whether it's time, whether it's a little discomfort, whether it's learning new things and being humbled. They can push the ego down to rise up, and they're usually the most humble people who achieve. Whereas the other people who don't want to try, oh, it's egocentric, it's, oh my God, I didn't think that, oh my God, I don't want to spend that, oh my God, it's not worth that. Meanwhile, they're still struggling and living in pain and suffering. But they will cover it over with some car, with some bag. But deep down inside, on the health and fitness side, it ain't it, and they won't admit it. You either win or you lose. You're either born a winner or you figure out how to become one.
I think that's some good advice. She competed for quite some time. I know she did a couple of shows last year. She's been doing this for 27 years. She's also, I think she's a lovely lady. She has an impressive physique. And that's the thing is the dedication when you get into sport, be it just a bodybuilder, be a trainer, working out, and the work and dedication you focus to it, because this is not easy sport. Not everybody's meant to be, whatever they want them to be. You have to really focus and be dedicated and be understanding. Understand there's so much work and sacrifice you got to put into it when you get started to something. It can't be just, it don't have to be bodybuilding. It could be just you get a new job and there might be some issues with that job, but you got to try to find a way to work out through that job. And then dealing with people that sometimes, you ever like on your jobs, what's it like for y'all during the day? Like dealing with, because I've worked in jobs where I work with the public, and and sometimes they can be a pain.
I mean, I mean, she's an attractive woman, but my thing is, I've learned not to be on these women like that. I'm just saying it for me. After a while, it's like, they're married or they got a boyfriend, and they also, even if you do like them or whatever, attracted to them, they don't feel the same way. So I just kind of like learn how to like fall back a bit probably look at other things as well, because it do get tiring, just like focusing on them a lot of times. Not to say that, I got that, I don't have my preferences. There's women that I do like, but after a while, it just gets kind of corny for me to just always kind of be like up on these women like that, and I'm just saying for me, that's all.
All right. So, and like I said again, dealing with life's like you like dealing with people on a daily basis for yourself. What's that like for you?
For myself, like
Yeah.
what, like dealing with people,
Hmm.
it's not always easy all the time. Like I just try to I kind of like look at it in a spiritual way a bit. Like I know it's corny, but because I really can't do it in in um in in a mundane way, if it makes sense. Just trying to not feed into even if negativity comes in my way, I gotta know how to handle it. I'm gonna give you an example. I was dealing with something with my boss, with my supervisor, and she flipped on me because she feels that I I ask unnecessary questions. And one of the questions was to work on my schedule for work. And so, she made it dramatic to a point where, I got sent home because I was laughing because I couldn't believe, she did that. So the couple of days later, they had a meeting on me and stuff, and they wanted me to they gave me like 4 week like evaluation to say like to see if my progress is going to get better. If my progress don't improve, they're going to give me the boot. So I'm like, it's like to a point where I almost feel like I'm like, yo, why y'all keeping me here? Because I've been there almost like nearly like 5 years, and sometimes they'll have me do a specific job and certain things. It's not like an everyday thing, but they'll have me do it, and then when I do it, it's not right. So for me, it's just dealing to go back to what you was asking me. It's not always easy to even like to say work for people. That's my challenge. Like just like from going one job to another, because you got to please them and stuff. It was one point that I got tired of. I didn't even want to look for a job. So like to piggyback on the women, sometimes it can be like that in a way. So that's the only thing I could share. I want to make it too long for you, but
That's all
that's
right.
my issue. Yeah.
That's all right because this is a subject we talk about here. What about you, Alex? Because I know you got a job where you're dealing with the public a lot more, and being around people, and also as you've been around my girl too. Try to give her apple pie. I gotta talk to you about that,
Come
son.
on, you're gonna bring that. Come on, I was just being friendly. It wasn't that what you thought
And
it
he's
was.
teasing you, Alan. He's teasing you.
Yeah, yeah, but I was picking on him. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
here you
I've
go.
always, yeah, I kind of get the feeling, yeah, yeah, I know how it feels in the workplace sometimes, but I work pretty decently. There are some moments where, my supervisor, my coordinators and leaders, though, I was adjusting to the supermarket's work ethics and, what we're supposed to do. I get some support from my coworkers. We've been, my schedule's been, sometimes I know sometimes it could get a little, but, I keep calm and collected. I've been through I know in my early years I was stressed out during my early supermarket years, but times have changed. It's a learning experience. That's why I've been always been I never. Yes, I have met people. I have seen customers who got a little get a little angry. And, I get a little confused, and there's some are impatient, some. Yeah, but for the most part, I have met some pretty nice people there. The Publix is a pretty, it does help a lot. So it's I'm
Yeah.
getting adjusted to it.
Good thing you ain't work at McDonald's. That'd be a different story.
Well,
You
like I
work at
said,
wait, that was your job, McDonald's, really?
No, before years ago, I was working at McDonald's, and trust me, I got into a lot of confrontation with people. And it didn't matter. Like I almost got into a fight with these teenagers because they were smoking in the restaurant, and I and
Oh,
they ain't like me, always approaching them because that was my job. They told me I had to do it.
mhm.
So this
And
was like during like I would say post pandemic, where people they couldn't like stay in the restaurant. They had to get their order and they leave. And so people would just sit there, and I'm telling them, respectfully, can you not sit there? And people would get their attitude. Some people would leave. It was hot. It was hectic, man. Like I got fired because I cursed this dude out. Like he had a lot of stuff on the table, and I volunteered to like take the garbage out on his from the table. So he was like trying to act friendly, but then he turned around, he changed up on me and was like, I need you to leave right now. And so I don't know, I got upset, and he started talking to the other customers, and so I cursed him out, and he cursed me back out, and I said something I probably shouldn't have said because I had another write up, and me saying what I said, it caused me to get fired at the time. So I told him like, have a stroke with them fries, and I was I was pissed off, and then my supervisor, he kind of was asking me, did I say that? Did I tell him that? And I said, yeah, because I was willing to take the garbage out, from the table that he was eating, and he had a lot of stuff on the table, like it was really sloppy. It was terrible. But that you dealt with. I had to deal with customers like that. Like there'll be like people like they're homeless, and they'll come in the bathroom, and one dude, he like like the minute he goes into the bathroom, he's washing up to the point where the water slid through the door, cracks through the door, and he's taking a bird bath.
oh,
And then he'll leave. I remember I was recording him. I was like, yo, you can't get out, yo, you can't stay in this store no more. Get out of here. And it didn't bother him. He just would do it. Like he was real slick about it. I'm gonna give him that. But it was like when he leaves, I had to clean up the bathroom and stuff. So it was like chaotic things like that, And the funny thing is, that was like I stayed in that McDonald's for like 8 months. Other McDonald's I've been to, it was like a week or 4 months. I hated McDonald's too, but it was like out of desperation that, I had to just take the motherfucker and just yeah, man. I had to take the job because it was really tough. But yeah, that's my experience with the public. At the library, I work at. People just ask you stupid questions, and you know, they act up a little bit, but it's nothing like McDonald's. So
yeah,
yeah.
like I worked in two jobs that were public. I worked at a gas station. I worked in a strip club, and with the strip club, one thing was I was very comfortable about patting down people. And this situation happened where the first time I got fired was because somebody got by. It was me. Me and this other guy were patting down were patting down these two guys that were coming in, and one of the guys had a gun. Either
Oh,
because I was the last hire, I was the first fired. and the other guy was there for a long time, so he was going to stay there as long as the guy. But then, no more than a year or so later, one of the guys who was working the door, my nephew came by the club and say, "Well, what's your uncle doing? He's not doing anything right now. He's just at home." So that was one time when my mom got sick and I wasn't really doing anything because I quit my last job and she was sick and I was going through my issues with my pacemaker. And that's dealing with the public and also dealing with the girls that can be, they can be, especially if it's not a good night, it's slow. I Sometimes I'll be places and guys who knew me at work the clubs say, "Man, George, you're around with girls all night." It's like, dude, it's not always like that. Sometimes there'll be situations where you have to deal with people, especially when they're drunk, when they're stupid. You might got girls who get mad because, hey, there's certain rules that they got to follow. One girl got mad one time when she was caught doing some stuff in the VIP room. And, she got mad at me. Hey, I have my boss who wants me to make sure that nothing happens that's not supposed to happen in that room. If you get caught, that's on you. That's not me. I'm doing my job. It's not. I'm getting paid. That's all. That's all my concern. But when you come in here, there's rules. You stick to those rules. Some stuff he'll let you slide by every now and then. Other times, especially when we have. I remember this is true story. It was one night, and this was before I started working there. It was like one night I was there hanging out, and these guys come in. It's called SBI, State Bureau Investigations. They come through, and and seemed like everybody that were in there. It's like that movie. What was the movie? Some people just got up and walked out because that's the police. So and the girls were mad because they were trying to get money, and then there's a few of us here and there. We was hanging out, but I didn't have nothing. I had no charges or any kind of warrants or anything like that. But then they saw the police cars in the driveway, and people didn't want to stop. And then it was almost maybe an hour or so before they left, and then it picked up a little bit because things like that happens. Because you have to be watchful. I remember a story where I was on a vacation with my family, and there was a situation. Guy tried to rob a guy in the parking lot, got shot. He ran over to the trailer park next door, and I knew the guy. One of the guys who lived there. He told me how the guy who got shot came knocking on his door, and he helped the guy. He was with a girl that time, but he was just being a good guy. We have here BC Royce coming through. He says, that's not good advice. No one is born a winner. And even successful people go through times of doubt and failure and wanting to give up. They keep pressing on. But again, everybody finds something that they want to use to get them motivated. Also, he says, KL says, KL is bringing up a good points. All right. Yeah, I'll give him that. Shout out to you, my man, Emmanuel, as a fan, you can respect their boundaries. However, female bodybuilders do need to understand that they do have a fan base, and pushing them away through being was unnecessary rude to them won't help them long term. Yeah, but the thing also is that some guys can be a bit weird, and and some of the women that I've heard, like I had an issue when one lady told me I said she have a stalker. And that's one thing. That's one side of it because you had guys that get too extreme. I've heard somebody that have to deal with stalkers, people making comments, guys who will create other IG accounts so you can just keep on jumping onto your account, even though you block that account, you block that account. They feel in some situations they do like the people that support them, like my man Alex here. He supports. He makes little pictures and send them. They appreciate that. They do like that. But then there's the guys who can be a bit like one lady talk about how I was talking with Lisa. I talk about guys with wanting foot fetish stuff or stuff from clothing or flexing videos and stuff like that. And that's not her. That's something she's not comfortable to do that because, like, again, she's a mother with 7 kids. She want to be a good example for her kids and her family. Some women do it because that's the way some make their money, but also they got to be careful who they're dealing with because some people can get very weird when it comes down to the subject of it. This is a video I found because this one lady, she's not a bodybuilder. She's a regular lady who works out and trains. Her name is Nikki. It goes by Nikki Baby. And she's quite often social media. And if y'all know her videos, see her stuff. And this was shared by a guy named
I see her a lot of times.
Yeah, Midwest Kong. He shared this. And you know her saying. Here's gonna put it up.
You pussy hoe ass niggas that's jumping in my DMs telling me that I'm lifting too heavy and I'm starting to look like a man. What makes you think I give a fuck?
Oh, come on, sis.
What makes you think I give a fuck about what you think? Cause I'm a muscle-headed hoe.
Muscle-headed hoe.
And if I'm not lifting heavy, I'm gonna be putting bitch ass niggas like you on a t-shirt.
Put them on a t-shirt then.
So it's your best bet that I stay in the gym and stay active, hoe. And you need to mind the business that motherfucking pay you, bitch ass nigga.
Hey man, listen, fellas, I'm gonna talk to y'all first. Nobody give a shit. I feel like when y'all act like that towards women who lift weights, everybody got their preference, cool, but nobody give a shit what our preferences are, right? But I feel like when women try to get in shape and they start getting them results, that emasculates some of you motherfuckers that don't go to the gym. That ain't on them, that's on you. Now all of a sudden they're not attractive and they too manly. Like, no, you just too pussy, like she said. If that's not your preference, then don't date a woman who in fitness. I'll go to the comment section and y'all talk about this. No, she don't look like a man, bro. You look like a bitch. That don't mean you have to express how you feel about a woman lifting weights on her comment section. That's corny and that's weird. Where we lost the absolute pride of being a man. When you a man, you just don't do sucker shit. And that is sucker shit. Whether you're doing it to a woman or you're doing it to another man, it's sucker shit. Ladies, I don't want no hard man. It was so what? But y'all the same ones be on Instagram liking all these swole motherfucking shit. You love all these dudes in the movies that got muscle, but you'll go tell your man that you don't like muscle head mans.
He makes a good point. You know, even women will disparage other women who work out and train, and even make comments about men who work out and train. Like sometimes I've had guest ladies who are trainers, and they have situations where a woman's saying, "I don't want to be big like you." And go back to again, you're not going to be like her if you don't do the same regimen and training. Like I got an interview with a couple ladies tomorrow. One lady, she was overweight after having 2 kids. Now she's
not to get you off.
Yeah. And then there's another lady, her name is Mrs. Barbara Moses. She survived cancer, went through a bunch of surgeries. She's 73 years old. And this lady she just competed, made her first bodybuilding show last year in Florida. She's a novice competitor. And she's also, we try to reach out because it was like a video that Gina Cavallero tagged me in about her. I said, you know what? I want to reach out and talk to this lady. What drives her? Like she got grandkids, she got grown kids, you know, and people would go in conversation with something like that. Because this is somebody. She's not old enough to be my mother. She's old enough to be one of my sisters. Because I got a sister who's in her late 60s. You know, a mother. Her birthday was last week. You know, she would have been 80 something years old. My mom. I kind of thought about you. I saw a post I posted a couple years ago, and it just popped into my Facebook, and I just say, God, I forgot about it. But if you're not comfortable with, and like with Nikki, she's not a bodybuilder. She's a chick who lost weight, got into fitness, found something about it, and started, documenting her progress. That guy shot to the Midwest Kong. That's a big. I would fight that brother if I had a gun or a crowbar, But he gives a good point where why do you go out of your way to comment on something? If it's something you don't like, why waste the time and energy to comment on it at all?
I don't got no thoughts on that. So
yeah, that's the thing is, here's one thing also. As you know, I'm on social media quite often. As I say again, beware surroundings all the time. And this was sent to me by my man KL. It was from a competitor. I think she's a competitor. Maybe I reach out to her, maybe do an interview where she shows where it's funny how people take time and comment on women who are bodybuilders. And why do you do that? Again, it goes back, why take the energy to do it where really some ladies don't care, but they want to point you out. Here she is. The young lady, I believe her name is, she's called The Jacked. And here she goes. people.
Yeah, I mean, after a while, she once in a while she'll get those. She'll talk about the negative comments that she have, and she kind of handled it like well, I mean, there's other ones that they do get a lot of those comments as well as she do, but
Mhm.
I mean, me personally, I like her physique,
Yeah, she's
yeah,
doing. She does wellness. You
yeah.
know, the wellness. The moon, as you know, the wellness posts are very. uh, you know, uh, it's just. I think she looked like a lovely young lady. Might pop reach out to her in the future for an interview. She goes by Taylor. And
She's a
again,
nutritionist.
she's a nutritionist. Here
Yeah.
she is. Here, going.
Bulgarians, here are a couple tips I have for you. Number one, making sure that your torso is a little bit leaned over. The more leaned over you are, the more glute dominant the movement is. The more upright you are, the more quad dominant the movement is. Secondly, making sure that on the concentric portion of the movement, you are really pushing through the heel, which will bias the glutes. Third is making sure you are not going too deep in the movement. A lot of times people go down too far that their knee all of a sudden touches the ground and then you're taking tension off of the glutes. Really, when I am doing Bulgarians, my knee is probably about like this far from the ground, just keeping tension on the glutes. My last tip would be
Yeah, and she's giving tips, and that's very important, especially when you are in the sport in the world of bodybuilding. And look at that back. Wow. You know, I don't know how long she can stay in wellness much longer. I mean, I just have somebody just popped in. We have a guest here. Oh, yay! We got my man here. We have not seen him in forever. I think the last time we had here, my man Jeremy
Hi,
from the
Jim.
Art of Female Muscle.
That's
Yo, bro.
Hi guys, how's it going?
all
Hi, how
right.
you doing? How you
I,
doing?
I know I'm coming into the tail end of this, but just wanted to pop in real quick because dutifully looking for work at this point because we're in between
Oh,
jobs. So that's so much fun that you spend so much time filling out applications only for them to say we're pursuing other candidates. So we just keep going.
Yeah, right.
that's all right.
Definitely
That's how
relate
you
to
do.
that.
Yeah.
Well, but how you think about doing some, like a lot of people do, do some stuff at home now if you can, maybe some kind of online stuff.
Well, we will see what we can do. So right now I've got about 60, 70 applications out there. So getting some feedback on them. So we'll see what happens with those. So may have something coming up. It would not pay everything, but at least it's money. We can
Yeah,
go from there. So,
yeah,
but yeah, but
but you have.
your topic is interesting. So
Mhm. So, what's your thought? Because as you like me and KL, you content on women in bodybuilding. What's your thoughts on it, especially with people who have that energy to comment on, what women do, what they post, especially that do bodybuilding, or not just bodybuilding, just women who work out and train and build muscle.
there's one word to describe them: losers. Outright fucking losers. That's what they are. Because if you have to make yourself feel better by going over to other people's pages and making them feel bad, that makes you a loser of the lowest order, as far as I'm concerned. And they should not even give it credibility. Somebody that I absolutely love who calls them out all the time is Christina Parks, Tina Trap Queen. She does posts all the time, and I'm laughing my ass off every single time I see those because she's posting their pictures, she's posting their handles. It's hilarious because she just calls them out and said, "Oh, you look ugly," and then some of these people, they ain't exactly models, they ain't exactly supermodels. The people who are making these comments, and she points that out, but. And I love the fact that she does it, and I think that's what they should do. I think more female bodybuilders should do that. Call out the people who are giving them shit, because I know I would get a huge kick out of it. So,
Yeah,
but
because
no, sorry, go ahead.
but both me and KL has interviewed Christina in the past. I recently had an interview with her about a couple months ago, And I point she does this quite often, where she points out about people commenting on her having muscles. And she knows she's a mother of 3 kids. She's an IFB pro bodybuilder. And, it's she works to build her muscle in her body. I mean, and also as a man, I think she's a beautiful woman. She's an attractive woman. I mean, something about her. We're gonna pull up a couple of videos while we have her. We'll see if we're talking about her. Give me a sec here. And I'm a fan of Tina. I think she has a great personality about her. And she does this because this is the way she makes her living. Because she uses her body to make a living. Here is, I think this is one of her recent videos. Yeah, I mean, oh, she's, I mean, it's just
difficult. That is difficult to do that is difficult to do.
yeah, and she has to deal with this on like what's your favorite part of workout? She,
Yeah, I met her. Yeah, I met her in person. And we was discussing about it, and she was telling me, how the guys they be harassing her about her having muscle. And then I remember I told her, like, some guys, they'll probably do make comments, but they want some attention to a point where they want to sleep with you or go out with you on a date. And she told me that too, that there'd be guys that they'll say some things, egregious things, and then they'll turn around and ask her out and stuff like that, and then she just says no. Like, why you trying to make me feel bad? So
that's the funny thing. No one's trying to make you feel bad, dude. You made the comments to her, and she doesn't
no,
want to
I'm
deal with
saying
it.
no. I'm saying that's what she said. Like, why you gonna ask me on a date, and then you
That's
from then you's making me feel bad, trying to make me feel bad. That's what I'm
yeah,
trying to say.
yeah. I know it's what I'm trying to say because that thing is, dudes. If you want a woman, like I said, you get more, sugar than you get more sugar than you get vinegar. You're gonna it's soda because and the thing is, women are gonna want a man are attracted to. These guys making like this is one of the posts where she's showing pictures of the guys making the comments, and come on, most of y'all are looking like I don't know. It's it's just about it goes back to preference. But then, like guys will turn around and make comments, then turn around and say another word, say, "Hey, I like you because you're cute, you're pretty." Here she is talking about. I think she had interact with somebody.
Okay, tell me when I'm ready. I'm ready. Okay. Tegus RDH. What is one piece of advice you would give someone starting their fitness journey as a coach? So I'm going to say that when I tell anyone any advice, like the first thing I say is don't give up. And I know that sounds very cliche and like, duh, but it's so easy to start a fitness journey and not see any results or even think, okay, I'm getting fatter, I'm gaining weight, this isn't working. I did that. So when I first started, I about I'd say 6 weeks in, I remember thinking I'm just gaining weight. Like, because I was eating a lot more. I'm like, I'm just getting fat. And I was so uncomfortable. And it was a mental thing because I'm eating more. So just in my head, I'm like, I'm getting fat. I know it. I remember feeling my bra, thinking it was so tight, and I ripped it off in the car and I threw it. And I was throwing a tantrum. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give it 4 more weeks. This is really not that much time, 6 weeks. But in your mind, every day is that's a long day of putting in
extreme effort on your body. So you think you should be feeling results and seeing results so quickly, but it takes so much time. So I gave myself 4 more weeks and I did start seeing a slight difference. And that's when I got, I don't want to say addicted, but I was like, okay, I want more. So give yourself time. Do not give up and do not give yourself excuses. It's like the opposite. Don't give yourself an excuse to not work out. Give yourself excuses to work out. You will never regret going to the gym, but you will regret not going. So that's my advice. Just don't give up. Cliche, but it's true. Just it takes so much time. Just imagine where you'll be in 5 years if you do it, and imagine in 5 years where you'll be if you don't. There you go. That's my.
Yeah, I mean that's some good advice.
I just sent you a link of the videos that she does that I find absolutely hilarious. That she publicly calls out the people on Instagram who give her bad comments. She doesn't care. Her philosophy is basically, okay, if you guys are deciding to do that and come over and give me shit, then I'm going to give you shit. And I absolutely love these videos that you put out. I sent you the link to it in the studio chat. So I don't know if you want to cut and paste it.
I got it, and I'm going to share it in a bit. But yeah, she is I think, like, again, she's a beautiful woman. And it's maybe just me being a fan of these ladies or just me being a man. I don't see why somebody takes energy out and pick on someone like this, and then they pop into her DMs or whatever else it is.
Yeah. You need to turn on the sound. Yeah, need to turn on the sound.
Yeah, got because we have the music right to you know how it is. See if it's.
Oh yeah, I do. Okay, all right.
Yeah, because
Okay, but I love the fact that she does this. She calls everybody out.
So I think some ladies will start doing it bit by bit because maybe these guys don't look like maybe a couple guys look like they might work out a little bit. Most guys like somebody who's your accountant or something like that. And then they have wives and girlfriends. So if your wife and girlfriend decided that she wants to get in shape, and then she likes being a bodybuilder, she says, you know what, maybe like we ladies who often I've been interviews, we say that we both of you have seen that where ladies get approached by somebody at the gym, says, hey, you ever think about being a bodybuilder? You ever think about working out? I got to do like Gizmo. And then they say, nah, I'm not certain about it. I don't know nothing about bodybuilding. But then once they find out about it and get into it, it becomes a new passion for them. Again, it's up to you as an individual. If you don't like something, okay, cool. But if you have a problem with it, why waste the time and energy to talk about it? We have here some comments here. Shout out to my guest who's been sticking in here and supporting this. I really appreciate this. This is for a man, B. Royce. He says this. He says, I agree with Emmanuel. Yes, there's creeps and mean dudes who pester these women, but most female bodybuilders are not friendly towards the public, not just their fans. They're antisocial. That's where he's wrong at. You're looking at a few women who might not be antisocial. Some of these ladies are good people, and sometimes they have to deal with people who are the particular assholes. And sometimes you're going to have those ones who are not, that kind of like this ladies I came across who are straight, not very, I sometimes don't deal with them, but not all of them. And again, you got to think about it. Some of these ladies have to deal with somebody else's, issue with them having muscle. And sometimes after a while, you get jaded and get the point where you get tired of it. Sometimes you do get, your experience might be different from everybody else's, but with mine, yes, I've done some women who are not that friendly, but there's some ladies who I call friends, I'm cool with. We will sometimes they'll send me some stuff. Like one lady sent me some progress pictures, and I appreciate that because she wants my feedback. Say, hey, what do you think about this? Well, how do you think I look? We talk about other stuff too, but again, that's not everybody. This thing, don't lump just one group of people in it with your experience, but not knowing actually dealing with some of these ladies, you have to understand that they go through a lot. And sometimes your skin can get a little thick, it can get thin, and you just have to do your best to deal with society's views. Shout out here who we have here. We got here Paul coming through. Paul Grice Shop. It says, if you're about business, once you meet them, they are some of the sweetest, kindest people you will ever meet. They're the first ones to help sickly and obese children. Yeah, that's I say appreciate that. Also, this is from Emmanuel says, I do understand the men can exhibit predatory behavior towards FBBs. Deborah Baker, former FBB, now turning opposing coach, has shown the message she gets from men on IG. It's not a good look on men. Yeah, I think Deborah. I think she mentioned that she's no longer competing. I think she's focused on coaching now. This is the thing is that we mentioned again how those people can be a bit weak. And like one thing, like I remember this is from an interview I had with Sean Nelson. Sean Nelson does his photography and also he works for her biceps. And he told me a time about how when he posts pictures on his social media, what's up?
It's just
Yeah, it's great. It's cool. He'll post pictures on his social media, and the guys will be talking to they'd be like, I've seen this happen with me. When I post a picture from like either a contest or when I got an interview coming up, I post a picture, or sometimes a lady will send me a picture, so you mind if I share it? So she said she's cool. The guys will be talking to like, hey, thinking that she's gonna respond. Again, this is a picture from somebody else posted on my social media. And and those women are not gonna respond to you unless you go to their IG. And sometimes after a while, you go to social media, if you get weird, they will block you. I have somebody block me. Yeah. Like your experience on it too.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just that how many times, because of the avatar that I've got, that I've had guys who send me hidden requests say, I think you're a beautiful woman. So I look at that, I'm like, guys, okay, sorry, but you do realize that even when you tell them, oh, by the way, I'm a man, it's like, oh, well, I still think you're beautiful. I'm like, you don't even know what I look like. So it just, I think one thing just from what I have seen is the turnoff. It says one thing, and I think Claudio pointed this out very well and very accurately recently on hardcore female bodybuilding over on IG. And he said that's what his site is all about, is promoting the division, is promoting the competition. He said basically keep the sex stuff to a minimum. And so many women have gone over there and applauded him for saying that. Because unfortunately, a lot of times, the first thing that's out of their mouth is something sexual. And I think that's one thing that's a big turnoff, because it's like they don't know you from Adam. So if that's the way that you're coming across towards them, immediately a red flag is going to go up, because they're going to be asking, okay, are you another one of these guys who's basically says, hey, I would love to sleep with you, or I would love to feel you all over, or do you cater to my fetish, or such like that? I can only imagine what the inbox is like for these women on a daily basis. So, I mean, I think above everything else, they want to be respected as competitors. They don't want to be seen as the sexual apple of your eye. And I think they mean it depends on, from what I've seen, it's how you approach them. And yeah, no matter what you do, there are going to be people who are turned off. And then you can't do anything about that. You just have to try to be as honest as you possibly can. But I think above all else, they want to be respected as competitors. They don't want to be seen as the object of your sexual fetish. Because I can only imagine back in the MySpace days, there was a figure competitor. I try to remember who she was. Her entire blog was calling out people and showing people the messages that she got on a daily basis. That was her entire blog. And it's shocking, some of the things that happened, some of the things that were given to them. And this is every single day. So I can only imagine. I can only imagine that. So it's like, hats off to Claudio for bringing that up, is saying, look, my site, as far as my place is concerned, I am all about the division. As far as in the IFBB and NPC, I'm about following the competitions. Who's there to win? Who's there? Who's winning? Who's placing, and such like that. Basically, if you want to deal with all the sex stuff, there's plenty of places to do that. Just don't do it here. So, and I applaud him for that. I mean, you're right. There's nothing wrong with finding one of these women attractive. I'm not saying that that's a bad idea, but the thing that is a turnoff is, how are you approaching it? I mean, is the first thing out of your mouth say, I want to do a photo shoot with you so that I can feel you all over? Which I know that there are guys who actually sent them messages like that, wanting them to cater to your every sexual fetish. That's a huge turnoff. The first thing, and above everything else, they want to be respected as competitors. So if you're starting with all of that, huge red flag. Not surprised if people turn them off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like in my went through my lives, and I say, guys, you want to talk to you ladies, no weird shit, no dick pics, no none of that, because many of them don't like that. And
Right.
I've had ladies who told me, said, thank you for saying that, because they really appreciate when somebody, because they're still women, and as men, it's in our nature to protect our women. Like, I remember what a situation happened to my sister years ago when she was dealing with her husband, and she came to the house and she was crying. And me and my brother, we wanted to run down there and hit him with a bat and a hammer. My mom said, "Nah, don't do that," because that was our big sister. We had here my man B. Royce. I'm gonna give him this. Says, George, I've been around more female bodybuilders than you. I've been to at least 30 shows. Most of them are very quiet towards people in general. That's your experience. I'm not saying that you don't understand, but my experience. Me and ladies have been, and I have been around a lot of shows, but I've reached out to ladies, and it's one thing on social media, but everybody's experience is different. I'm not denouncing your experience with them, but you got to think about it. Some of those women are at shows, and if you're talking to them, like especially if they're competing, they're not, they're in their mindset are about the stage. They are going through some things. Your experience is different from my experience. That's what I'm saying, And me and Jeremy have interviewed some of these ladies, and some of these ladies are decent ladies. Some will, if they get an opportunity where they're comfortable with a man, they would talk your ear off. There's been times where after we finish the interview, we'll talk a good 20 minutes or more, because sometimes when women feel comfortable with a man, doesn't have to be a bodybuilder, just a woman in general feel comfortable with a man, they will talk to your ear. Now, you have been 30 years, but I have dealt with women a lot longer than you have. Every woman's different, the mindset of it. It goes to years of experience. But I think that's the thing is that everybody's experience with dealing with some of these ladies is going to be different. It's not going to be the same. And yeah, again, I mentioned there are some ladies who can be a bit coarse with you. I've dealt with them myself, but I don't deal with them. I say, hey, that's how you feel? I don't have to deal with you. But there are those who say, you know what, to see my content, like I did an interview with Helen and them, say, hey, I really like your stuff. I really like what you're talking about. I reach out a couple of ladies in interviews, and you go and look to my social media and see my interviews and say, hey, you do some pretty good things. You really talk to people. You make them feel comfortable. Discussions we have, if I can go more places, because like I said, I'm not much of a traveler, but I am planning to go to a show. And some of the ladies who I've met in, like, one with the Tampa, and ran some ladies who I did interviews with, they were so excited to see me because, they always want to meet me and talk to me. And, that's my experience. Your experience is different from mine. Maybe sometimes it's about how you present yourself. Sometimes the women, again, when they feel comfortable with a man, and you're not the type of guy who's like pushing up on them, or sometimes you have to deal with people looking for more. Like my man Jeremy just said about how there's a lot of people out there that want more than they expect to get. Shout out to my man Emmanuel. He says the same thing applies to structure of OnlyFans guys. Send the female of content creators continuous messages like, do they know that it's a guy who is chatter on an agency that talks to them? Yeah, because OnlyFans is a platform. A lot of ladies go there to make a living because we all know bodybuilding is not a very lucrative business. If you're the few ladies who get big time sponsorships, like Andrea, she's sponsored by Mutation. People like Lola Montez, they cover some of the costs and help and pay them because you think about it, how like the last couple of shows, you might get like with the Triple O, $10,000 for first place for Barbara Mojan, but then the other ladies get like $2,000 or $3,000, and after the cost of hotel, your plane, hair, makeup, your food, if you're going to rent a car or get an Uber, some would say, if you're in this big city you know nothing about, you get an Uber, but if you've been there frequent enough, you get a rental car so you can be able to move around. $2,000 or $3,000 is not much.